We are recording. Okay. Gorgeous. Welcome back to another episode. Why am I so excited? I'm nervous. Like, I think I should preface this episode, every episode. I'm always nervous. I get my footage and I'm like, oh my God, did I make sense? How's everything? I'm going to take my wellness shot from Press Juicery with you guys this morning. I already took half of it. This is strong. Ginger, lemon, cayenne. Between this and that coffee, I might have to have an intermission. And as always, we're going to get right into it. We're going to jump. I don't know if I should start doing like little like story times, like where I tell you about my life, my day maybe, and then we segue into what we're going to talk about. I don't know. I haven't figured it out. I'm still learning. Help me out in the comments if there are comments. I'm not sure. Today, we are going to talk about the dating model, the current dating model that is fucking broken in 2025. Okay? We've all known this. The dating model has been broken for a minute. And as you know, I have so many thoughts on this. I would like to preface this episode by stating that we need to bring the men back. Like, I don't know where they've gone. We aren't sure. But the girls want the men to come back. Okay? It's never an educated man that says you hate men. It's always an idiot. You hate men. No, I don't. I hate losers. A man I love. A man, a stunning, beautiful, gorgeous, sexy, big man. Love. Why would I not like a man? I'm confused. I don't like you bitches. Bitches is gender neutral, okay? We want the men back, and right now, I think a lot of people are trying to figure out where do we go from here? What is the problem? What is happening? And I have a plethora of thoughts that we're going to discuss. Firstly, obviously, the apps are really fucking up a lot of people. I have been on the apps against my will, literally. It took me forever to finally get on the apps. I think I was 27 and I tried it out for a few months. And then I said, this is exactly what I thought it was. Bogus, lame, not my vibe. I have always been an in-person girly. I say this all the time. I like an in-person vibe. I like to see you. I like to look at you. I like to feel the vibe, the energy. You miss so many things online with dating apps, okay? You need to smell a person. I know that that's going to sound so weird, but that is like our instinct as humans. You are attracted to people's scents, their pheromones. That is important. That's part of like how we bond with each other, okay? And I know it probably sounds like super animalistic. Well, like, where do you think we came from? Like, I'm confused. So I've always been like that. But I get it, the digital age is fucking up so many people. I think it is really, really contributing to fucking up the boys, to be honest with you. Because men and women, I say this all the time, we are conditioned very differently. Women have a sense of community and the boys don't really, okay? And I think that, well, I know that men learn, how men learn is through watching, okay? They learn by watching what other men are doing, by watching their parents. That's how men learn. Okay, that's kind of like how a lot of us learn, actually. You know when your parents are like, don't do that, but then they do it, and you're like, okay, it's okay for them to do it, so it must be okay for me to do it. You end up doing it. You end up becoming that, or doing that, or having that. Are we catching my drift here? The apps give a false sense of options. They do. A lot of men think that they have way more options than they actually have, okay? Obviously, the digital age, now we have OnlyFans. Nothing against OnlyFans, nothing against the girlies of the OnlyFans, but because that type of content is so accessible now for men, it's obviously playing a role in dating, okay? It's playing a negative role in men's brains as well, okay? So there have been research, data, evidence, facts, studies about the effect of dating apps and how I think it's the top 10% of guys on the apps have access to 90% of the girls, because 90% of the girls, they want those top 10 guys. Those top 10 guys are never going to have any incentive to like settle down because they've got all the options in the world. Meanwhile, the rest of the guys, everybody's swiping on them. Okay, I don't know where you swipe. You swipe right, left, but you're swiping. You're swiping away, whatever direction that is. And it's just creating such an imbalance. It's creating a really big imbalance. We have had articles in the New York Times and I believe the New Yorker as well. There was one recently about bring the men back, where has romance gone? And essentially it's talking about how men are just avoidant. They kind of flake out, they ghost, they are unavailable emotionally, and how you think that there could be something. You're talking to a guy, but he's talking to you, but he's very passive. He's not very intentional. They're not really asking you out. They're not making moves. They're kind of just coasting. They're moseying on by. And they're kind of just going with the flow, okay? And I know this because I listen to the girlies and I talk to them all the time. You'll be talking to a guy for 2-3 weeks on an app, and he hasn't mentioned seeing you. Next, okay? The reason why I say, or why I'm going to tell you to not ask a man out is because if a man wanted to go out with you, he would make a fucking plan. And I know that this is, I could potentially, I feel like, get some backlash by saying that, but it's just like, if we go back, okay, what do? Men are initiators. Women are receptors, okay? We mirror back to you what you're doing. So if you don't like the way a girl's acting, like, reflect inwards. Like, what have you done, Brad? Like, what have you done? The boys are not reflecting. That's a really, really big one that I am like seeing so clearly now when I'm dating guys. Like, there's zero reflection. And I think a lot of the imbalance comes from the conditioning. Women are always conditioned to do better, be better, try harder, do all the things, unlearn those things. How can I try? How can I try in a different way? How can I try in a way that, maybe he will receive, maybe works for him? What can I do? Women are always asking that question. It's a constant. It's a literal constant for us, okay? So the girlies are doing the math in 2025, okay? We've maybe seen our parents. We are reading a lot. We are listening to information about relationships, about relationship dynamics. A lot of us are just saying for the boys, meet us where we're at. Like, just meet us where we're at, okay? And that seems to be very difficult for a lot of the boys. Cannot meet us where we're at, okay? This is going to be kind of hilarious, but dating shows, like, we just had Love Island. I didn't watch it, but I saw TikToks. I was filled in by my sister, and I read a lot of articles about it. It seemed like the boys were very lost, very confused. A lot of strategy, a lot of game, a lot of gamifying. And I feel like obviously that could be the nature. It's reality TV, but you're getting an insight on where these men are at emotionally, because these are actual men from real life, right? The disconnect between the boys and the girls, insane, crazy, okay? I was filled in on our boy Chris. We love to see it. We love to see it. My sister was telling me how emotionally available and in tune this man was. Do you want to know why? 7 sisters. 7 sisters. 7 sisters. That's what women do for men, okay? That's what women do. That he was an emotionally in tune man, asking questions. A man who doesn't ask you any questions, it's giving next. It's giving next. It's giving next. It's giving next, okay? A man is going to know that the vibe is switched up, okay? For example, a man is going to know when you're feeling away, when you're not vibing, and he is going to know that something is up and something is wrong. His ability to check in on you and say, hey, did I do something? Hey, are we good? Hey, I just want to check if we need to clear the air on anything. Do you see how easy it is to say any which of those things that I just said? It's so easy. It doesn't need to be a big thing. It doesn't need to be a fight. It doesn't need to be an argument. But just you acknowledging that, hey, I'm aware the vibe has shifted. should we discuss? I think most women want that, right? You feel a little bit seen when the guy that you're seeing does that, right? Because you're like, oh my God, he's aware, he's paying attention. He clocked it. He knows. Versus the emotionally unavailable guy that's avoidant, who's just like, sweep it under the rug. I'm going to ignore it and I'm just going to pretend like nothing. I've dated plenty of these guys. Sweep it under the rug. I don't sweep shit under the rug. Absolutely not. When it comes to my feelings, I'm not sweeping it under the rug. If I feel disrespected, if I feel like the vibe has shifted and you've done something that has made me like, maybe we're feeling a little bit disconnected, I'm not going to sweep it under the rug, because if we can't communicate, what am I doing here? What am I doing here if we can't communicate? The reason why it's important for men to ask these questions and initiate is because as a woman, you don't always want to say, hey, you did this wrong. Hey, you did this wrong. Hey, you didn't do that right. Hey, you didn't do that. You don't want to do that. You really don't as a woman. I don't want to constantly feel like I have to do that with a guy. So if a guy is also not picking up that the vibe has shifted, where do we go from here? Right? And I'm going to give you like an example. So I was talking to a guy, we were talking fairly frequently, and then he went on a trip, okay? I thought like, okay, he would still like check up, right? Because again, I don't talk all day, every day. The girlies know that. We're going to get into texting hygiene in the next episode, but I don't text all day, every day. Even if I am like really vibing with the guy and talking to him, we do a meaningful check-in. Either way, I'm thinking that we're going to continue doing this, right? So he ends up going MIA for 2.5, almost 3 days-ish. I wasn't freaking out in this time period, in this span, because I'm like, I know he's going to message me. It's just a matter of when, but I know he's going to, so I continue to live my life, as you should as a woman. And he messages me something like, hey, baby, like, I miss you. After 2.5 days of silence, after you've left the country, I'm not responding to that. Why would I respond to that? Like, we're all good and Gucci? No, we're not. The reason why we weren't super good and Gucci is because it felt like all of a sudden now when you leave, it's like you forget. It's like, oh, I'm not in the vicinity. I'm not on the radar anymore. It kind of felt like you totally forgot about me, which is totally fine. But an acknowledgement either prior or in that message is what you want to do to convey the closeness, or to make the person feel like, hey, I'm so sorry I've been MIA. It's kind of been a shit show. I meant to call you. I couldn't. I'm coming back tomorrow. Can we get on a phone call or something? Do you know what I mean? It's like, it seems like it's so easy to do, and the disconnect is just like we're on different pages here. In that space, for example, when a guy says I'm going on a vacation, right? And maybe it's like a funner location. It was supposed to be a family trip. Did I know it was actually a family trip? I had no way of fact checking that. So I had to take your word. The fact that I don't trust your word, red flag. But anyways, back to an emotionally like distant, avoidant man, right? He's trying to reconnect like nothing. And I'm letting him know by day 2 or 3 of him doing that, hey, we're not on the same page. There is a mismatch in our vibe right now. And it's due to the fact that you went MIA for like 3 days when you left. And it just made me feel like weird. It just made me feel weird. I'm not upset and I'm not angry, but it made me feel weird. Okay. I also want to highlight that with the boys, I'm personally seeing and realizing that boys don't know the full range of emotions. And that's where a lot of the divide between the girls and the boys is coming in. I cannot tell you how many times a man thinks I am upset or angry when I'm really just frustrated, stressed out, irritated, annoyed, disappointed. Okay? All of those emotions are categorized as maybe more negative emotions, like they're not super fun. They would maybe fall under the anger potentially, but they're not angry. And the amount of times that I've felt those emotions and a man has just said she's angry, I'm like, dude, no, I'm not. I'm frustrated with this situation because I feel like we continue to have the same discussion and it's not registering for you, okay? So really, I feel like the girls are saying, meet us where we're at. The 30-year-old boys that we're seeing on TV that we're giving platforms on social media cannot fucking speak. They cannot string sentences together. The disconnect between a 30-year-old woman, myself, and a 30-year-old man, the average 30-year-old man, is insane. These dudes cannot speak. They cannot properly articulate their emotions and what they're feeling. Yes, bringing us back to the conditioning. Men are not really conditioned to express their feelings in that way. I know it's harder for them, but that's where women also come in and we say, how are you feeling? And we go into the coddling of it. You see this on reality TV shows as well. When the boys are struggling with their emotions, the girls step in and the girls try to help the boys figure out how they're feeling. I don't want to be in a relationship with a man where I have to help him figure out and label how he's feeling. I really feel like you need to figure out how to do that for yourself. If I'm doing it and I can do it and I can figure it out in a world that is designed for you as a man, we live in a patriarchy. The world literally bends for you. It doesn't bend for me. So if I can do it and I'm figuring it out, what's your excuse? I feel like that is a really big divide for us. It really is. It's important for the boys to start reading. The boys need to start reading and the boys need to start learning and understanding their emotions and labeling them, okay? Brene Brown, I love her. You need to learn how to label your emotions. What is the difference between happy and excited? Okay? Like, understand the different tones of a feeling, okay? The boys need to learn more than happy, sad, and angry. Because it is true that those are the three emotions that men think are like the most relevant. And that's where you fall in. You're either happy, angry, or sad with a guy. And it's like, there's about 17 million other emotions that you forgot about. But anyways, the girlies just continue to pick up the emotional labor of relationships and of men in those relationships. And I feel like millennial women are just saying, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not being your mother. I don't want to be your mother. I feel like that's a big part of it too, because throughout history and in, previous decades and years, in the relationships prior to ours, women did that. And they said, I'm going to take on the emotional labor of figuring out this problem, of fixing it, and of doing and being for this person. And that's not to say that you're not going to do for the guys, but it's important as a man, to be able to regulate your emotions. And that's another layer of problems that I think we're having with boys. The boys get very, very sassy very quickly. They get and it's fine as a man, like you can get irritated, you can be annoyed, like we're all humans. But I would argue that men are actually way more emotional than women. Okay, when a man doesn't get what he wants, like the tantrum, and it's like, can we use our words? Can we use our words here? Quick intermission here. We need to talk about OPI nails. Natural nails are having their trend moment right now. A natural nail has always been it. She has never left the chat. She's never gone out of style. This past year, I said goodbye to my extensions and said hello to my natural nails. OPI's Repair Mode Bond Building Nail Serum has literally been a game changer in my routine. She has done wonders, like absolute wonders for my nails in bringing them back to life and making them super strong and very happy. Obviously, there's so many factors that are contributing to this, right? So many things have happened in recent history with women that have allowed us to obviously work, get credit cards, have jobs, be in the workforce. All of these things are relatively new, okay? They're relatively new. We had to fight for them. There's a shift that happens, right? And it changes the dynamic of women, right? So now we're saying, if I'm going to work and I am working just like you, and I'm coming home, for example, I'm talking specifically about relationships where you live with your partner, maybe you want kids, maybe you have kids, the emotional labor, the mental labor of the house needs to be joint. It's not just me. Okay? Oh, this is so layered, but I'm going to give you some examples where the boys are very confused and lost, and they're missing the ball, okay? And they're missing the ball on basics. And I think this is why we're having such a problem right now with dating. And again, I don't want to seem like I'm blaming the boys. I'm sure it's hard. I don't know. We obviously have the crisis that's facing boys and men. This is a real fucking thing. Professor Scott Galloway is constantly talking about this. He's researched it. Please go watch him and fill yourself in on it. But basically, the boys are becoming less adequate and less efficient, and the girls continue to climb and reach for the stars, essentially. Okay? And I love to see it. But that creates a very, very big gap. It's harder to date, right? The more you do and accomplish as a woman, and if you still want a man in your life, the pool gets smaller. The pool does get smaller. I would say that it does. Okay. Let's talk about where the boys are failing on basics. There was a video that was circulating the internet in the spring, I believe, and it was a gentleman kind of talking about how dating is going for him. He proceeded to put up screenshots of his discussion with a girl. Okay. I think he met her out in the wild, brownie points. We love that you approached her. Because that's another thing that boys are not doing. They're not approaching us anymore. They're not coming to talk to us. They're not saying hi. I'm not fucking with that. Anyways, he did that. Okay, cool. Brownie points. He said they talked, whatever. He got her number. We love to see it. That's great. I think this was a Tuesday, and he suggested them doing something either Wednesday or Thursday. That's a quick turnaround. That's a very, very quick turnaround. I'm going to tell you right now, for me, where I'm at in my life and how busy I am, a turnaround of 1 to 2 days, that's not happening, bitch. Absolutely the fuck not. I need a plan in action, and I need it like days in advance so we can book that time in and we can figure out a time that works in my schedule, okay? So already quick turnaround. The fact that you don't have a plan and you want to turn it around in less than 48 hours, like I'm already going to say, brother, let's take a rain check. Let's take a rain check. He says, I'll shoot you a message Wednesday or Thursday, something to that effect, because she agreed, okay? If I go to bed Wednesday night, the night before said date, and I don't have a message from you, and I wake up Thursday morning and I still don't have a message with a plan, and I'm leaving my house to go to work, there's no date, brother. There's no date. Absolutely the fuck not. Nope. I say this all the time. I want to stress it. If you do not give me a time and a place the day before you are supposed to take me out, we are not going out. What's hard to connect on that, right? And this is because as a guy, you're not factoring in that she's getting up and going to work. Do I want to go to a date in work clothes? Fuck no. Am I going to do the mental labor of saying, let me just pack, even though I don't even know the vibe of the date, where the fuck we're going? He hasn't even messaged me. But let me just pack something just in case and take it to work, just in case I have to leave from work and go to wherever the fuck he decides that we want to go. Women are saying I'm not doing that mental labor anymore. I'm not figuring it the fuck out for you. As a man, lead. Be a man. Be a man and lead. Lead. What is hard? I think this guy was like 30. Bro, I'm 30. Like literally what? What is that? Okay, he messages her at 1 p.m. with a vague outline of what he is like thinking they could do. And I'm like, she goes, no. Rightfully so. At a girl, I love to see it. Obviously no. Obviously fucking no. And he is mystified. He doesn't know where he went wrong. He is confused. He's lost. He doesn't know. He for the life of him couldn't figure it out. That's why he made the TikTok video. And he thought it was her. He thought she was the problem. That is a perfect example of the disconnect that a lot of girls are having with boys. I have another one. I believe this was an influencer. And she was talking about how I guess she was like going out with this guy, or like maybe she was just seeing him. It was casual. It was fine. It was like a hookup. Here's the thing with these like casual hookups. I couldn't do it because this situation would make me want to put my head through the wall, okay? This guy's supposed to go over to her house. You're coming over to a house, bring something. Etiquette 101, etiquette and manners 101. Who raised you? You're going to someone's house, regardless of if it's just like, bring something, dude. A bottle of wine. You don't even need to open it. Like, it's the gesture that matters. It is the gesture that matters, okay? So he says, like, should I bring anything? Oh my God. So she goes, dude, just grab a bottle of wine. That would piss me off. I wouldn't even want to see this guy. Okay? Anyways, bring a bottle of wine. He says that he's been waiting outside a wine shop or something for like 30 minutes. And he's like, what do I do? Like, it's closed or like they're on break or something. And she's like, we live in New York City. Like, go down the fucking street. There's wine literally everywhere. What do you mean? Having to hold a guy's hand through some of the most basic shit like this, of course women are not dating. Like, of course women are like, dude, I'm so good. Like, if this is what there is left, I'm good. And I think that disconnect it's not clocking for a lot of the boys. A guy recently came into my comment section and said, this is why men are staying single. Baby, it's not a choice for you guys. We decided. We said absolutely the fuck not. And it's so funny because I feel like we're not even talking about extreme standards here. We're talking about basic bare minimum, like literally bare minimum stuff. And the boys are still struggling to meet us there and to know how to move. If a guy is already missing the cues on this simple basic stuff, you're just telling us you have no plan. Like, you are lost. It's a freestyle for you. Nobody's clapping. There's not going to be an encore. The girlies are like, this sucked. What's the point? When I can just find fulfillment in other areas of my life, which so many of the girlies are doing. So many of the girlies are vibing and thriving, I gotta tell you. But this whole romance is sexy. If you watch rom-coms, that's another divide here for the girlies, is we have to uncondition ourselves from all of the romance rom-coms that we watched growing up, because so many of these boys lack the ability to even plan something slightly romantic. Like, these dudes, it doesn't even cross their mind to get you flowers after a hard day. Like, that's kind of pathetic. The concept of love and romance is never what relationships were ever forged on in like ancient times, right? You married for resources, for a better life, for a lifestyle, obviously. Take it with a grain of salt. There was obviously so much manipulation and power dynamics and all of this bad stuff. Yeah. Oh my God. Like, nothing is perfect. Like, we know that. But it is a fairly newer concept. And the idea that you could just like love someone and they're going to be able to emotionally like show up and provide for you in the ways that you want is like kind of crazy. Because as women, we can fall in love with a telephone pole if we thought it would like us back. Okay. So we're also a little bit skewed in that, right? I'm not saying that you can't get it, that it can't happen. I just feel like so many of them are actively not even paying attention to us, okay? And I'm going to give you another story time on this because it's important. If you know me and you have me on social media, you know I'm a bagel whore. I love a bagel. Anybody that knows me knows I love a bagel. So last year, I think it was last summer, I posted that like the bagels were low. Like, we had no bagels for breakfast and I was like losing my shit. This guy he was just like in my orbit was like, what's your address? Like, I'll send you bagels. I love to see it. Thank you so much. Immediately, yes. I knew this guy. It wasn't like a random person that wanted to send me bagels. So I wasn't going to like be stalked or like it wasn't going to be a weird vibe. As you know, I'm a bitch with many brain cells. So I don't be doing dumb shit. I used to, but I don't anymore. I'm thinking I'm going to get my bagels. I'm loving my life. Everything is great. I get an Uber Eats notification for a juicery place in my area. And I'm like, that's weird. They don't have bagels. They don't have bagels. I get a note that says something better than bagels. There's nothing better than bagels. There's literally nothing better than bagels. What? And that's exactly what I sent him. I sent him a message that there's nothing better than bagels. And this guy goes, you don't put diesel in a Ferrari. First of all, I'm disgusted. Second of all, I would put diesel in a Ferrari because I don't drive. Third of all, I don't care that that was a compliment. You're not listening. You're not paying attention. The undertones of a man doing that are not good. You're essentially telling me that you like the way that I look, okay, and you would like that I maintain and keep that figure. Listen, bitch, I am the way that I am, and when I want to stop eating the bagels, I will do that. But if you think you're going to come and enter this orbit of energy or my vicinity and tell me that I can and can't eat something, you're cracked out. Like, that's never going to happen. So it's little things like this that I'm like, these guys are not even paying attention. The answers are literally right in front of them. You could hand it to them on a silver platter and they are still not connecting the dots. And this is a guy who is smart. He is smart, has a very good job. Like, everything is good. Like, the check marks are checking. But when it came to like even trying to like slightly pursue me, everything he did was wrong. Everything he did was wrong. He always got it wrong. And it never felt like it was even an actual genuine attempt. So at that point, what are you doing here? Like, go somewhere else at this point. It is important to be a strong, sexy woman who has boundaries and lets a guy know, like, hey, like, that wasn't cool. I didn't like that. That wasn't nice. Don't do it again. Like, that's important. The boys, I think, are struggling with their confidence right now, and I think they're struggling with rejection, and I think it's crippling them and paralyzing them even more. And the more that you refrain and retreat and don't build those important skills that women already have a leg up on, because that's how we're conditioned, it's going to be exponentially hard for you to connect with women, to connect with the women that you want, because you're not pursuing, you're not taking risks. As a man, taking a risk is so important, and learning how to deal with rejection. We all have to deal with rejection, bitch. Some people are going to like you, some people aren't. Does it define you? No, it doesn't. Does it make you any less worthy? It doesn't make you invaluable. Someone didn't like you. Okay, cool. Like, the world is so big. We're at a point where if you don't step up, the girlies are going to step the other way. That's just the way it's going. I think it is on the guys. I'm going to be honest with you. I think it is on the guys. The guys are not reflecting. They're not self-aware. They're not doing the work. We've been doing the work. What do you want us to do? What more do you want us to do? I just made a whole podcast episode on this. What more do you want us to do? The women are constantly trying to connect the dots. We're trying to figure out. We're trying to solve it. What are the boys doing? They're playing video games. The boys are on Pornhub. Like, what are the boys doing? It has to become an issue where the boys care and they get involved and they do something about it. Or else we're just going to keep going like this. So really, I feel like we're asking for men to just step it up. Step it up. What the boys should be working on: your leadership skills, your communication skills, your emotional maturity and regulation, emotional control, very important. Your decision-making skills and your ability to plan and ask questions with the girl that you're dating and seeing. If you like her, you should be saying, hey, are we good? Hey, just checking in. Everything good? Anything you want to talk about? Anything you want to get off your chest? Just recapping one last time for the boys. The reason why that's very important is so that way she feels like she is being seen and heard. Because we don't always want to be like, hey, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. You didn't do it right. That's not cute. That's not fun. That's not sexy. Okay, boys? I hope the boys were here. I'm not really sure. I didn't think I would end up talking to them, but I did.